If you've not heard of the term transposition before, this video will give you a short outline of what it means and how this topic is often tested in the exam. Transposition is the process of moving an extract of music or an entire piece of music into a different key, whilst maintaining the same tone structure or intervals between notes. You may remember listening to two versions of Happy Birthday in the key signatures section of this course. One version was written in the key of C major and the other was written in the key of D major. The process of moving this short extract into a new key is called transposition. You could say the top melody here has been transposed up a major second to be written in D major. Now in your exam, you will be asked to transpose a short melody via one of the following intervals: an octave, a major second, a minor third, or possibly a perfect fifth. But why do we need to transpose melodies in music anyway? Well, transposition is really important for several instruments in the orchestra. Most instruments play music that sound exactly as written. So the piano, the violin, the cello, and the flute, when these instruments have a C written in their music, the note that sounds from their instrument is also a C. Transposing instruments, on the other hand, are instruments like the clarinet in B flat, the trumpet, or the alto saxophone. And with these instruments, the note written in their music differs from the pitch that sounds. So for example, let's think about the clarinet in B flat. If the clarinet player sees a C in their written music, they will play a C. But the note that actually sounds from the instrument is a B flat. Another way to think of this is to think of the piano and what note you would have to play on the piano to match the note the clarinet is playing. The piano would have to play a B flat to match the clarinet's C. Now, if you don't play a transposing instrument, this might seem confusing and you might be wondering why transposing instruments exist. Well, there's several reasons, two of which are as follows. The first one is that instruments all have different ranges. So by writing an instrument in a specific key, like B flat or A, it can reduce the number of ledger lines in the music. This makes it much nicer for the musician to play. The second reason is that in instrument families, so for example the saxophone family, the written notes in the saxophone music all use the same fingers across every member of the family. So the soprano saxophone uses the same fingers as the tenor saxophone for each note. This makes it much easier to switch between instruments in the instrument families. It's the key of the instrument that changes, not the fingers. So how do you describe transposing instruments, and how do you know what key they're in? Well, transposing instruments are described by the note which is sounded when C is played. For example, on an instrument in B flat, it's called in B flat because a B flat sounds when the written note is C. Similarly, an instrument in F is called in F because when it plays a written C, it sounds an F. A really useful way to remember this is via the saying, when it sees a C, it plays its name. So when a trumpet in B flat sees a C, it plays its name, which means it plays a B flat. So a trumpet is in B flat. Now, to make the distinction clear between these two notes, we refer to the note as either the written pitch or the concert pitch. So written pitch, as the name suggests, is what is written in the instrument's music. So this is what the player, for example, the clarinet player, will read in front of them. Concert pitch, or it's sometimes called the sounding pitch, is the note that sounds out the instrument. Again, it might be helpful to think of concert pitch as the equivalent note on the piano. What would the piano have to play in order to match the sound coming out the trumpet? So for example, here are two excerpts from a trumpet part. The first is at its written pitch. This is what the trumpet player will read. And the second is at concert pitch. This is how the notes actually sound, or this is what you'd have to play on a piano to match the sound. Now, thinking about the exam, Your task in the exam is to transpose a short melody from either written pitch to concert pitch or vice versa. Now don't worry, in the exam they will make it very clear which way you're moving and the interval distance. We'll take a look at the 3 types of instruments and the intervals that you could be asked to transpose to or from in the next few videos.